In September 1943, a manager from Mitsubishi Electric's Fukuyama Works in Hiroshima walks into the office of a small-time trading company operator and asks him a question. "What do you think about going into die casting?" The man's name is Yutaka Urakami. He runs a modest trading business and he has never touched a furnace, a mold, or a casting press in his life. His response to the Mitsubishi manager is honest. "What's die casting?" The manager explains. "Die casting is a metal fabrication process. You melt a non-ferrous alloy, usually aluminium or zinc, heat it until it flows like water and force it under high pressure into a precision machined steel mold called a die. The molten metal fills every cavity, every channel, every detail of the mold in milliseconds. It solidifies, you open the die, and out comes a finished metal part with tolerances tight enough for an engine block, a transmission case, a gear housing, an aircraft component. The process is fast and repeatable. One die can produce thousands of identical parts. Japan's military needs those parts, and Mitsubishi needs someone to make them." Urakami listens. He goes home. He reads everything he can find about die casting. He studies the process, the equipment, the materials, the economics. 1 week passes. He returns to the Mitsubishi manager with a 2-word answer. "I'll do it." 1 week between hearing the term for the first time and committing his life to it. The company that will eventually put a power tool in 50 million garages begins with a man who didn't know what his own business would be until someone told him. In December 1943, Yutaka Urakami establishes Ryobi Seisakusho Company Limited in his hometown of Fuchu in Hiroshima Prefecture, roughly 100 kilometers east of Hiroshima City. The company begins operations in February 1944, working out of a repurposed soy sauce warehouse with basic production equipment. The first products are die-cast parts for military air armaments. Japan is deep in the Pacific War. Every factory in the country that can produce metal components is producing metal components. The military needs aluminium housings for instruments, fittings for aircraft assemblies, casings for electrical equipment. Urakami's soy sauce warehouse, retrofitted with a furnace and a die-casting press, joins the chain of wartime production that stretches from Hokkaido to Kyushu. The company is small and the warehouse is not a precision facility. But Urakami establishes something in those first months that will define Ryobi for the next 80 years. He doesn't just cast parts, he expands from die fabrication to bring post-processing in-house immediately, creating a vertically integrated system where the same factory that casts the part also machines it, finishes it, and inspects it. No subcontractors, no external finishing shops, everything under one roof. The soy sauce warehouse is crude, but the manufacturing philosophy behind it is not. In August 1945, the United States drops atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Fuchu is roughly 100 kilometers from the Hiroshima blast. The town survives, but Japan's military-industrial economy is destroyed overnight. The military customers who bought Ryobi's die-cast air armament parts no longer exist. The war is over, the military contracts are void, and the entire market that justified the company's existence has evaporated. Urakami does what he did when he first heard the words die casting. He adapts. He doesn't mourn the lost contracts. He doesn't wait for the military to return. He looks at the country around him and asks what it needs now. In 1947, 2 years after the war ends, Ryobi Seisakusho shifts production from military components to civilian products and begins supplying die-cast parts to automobile manufacturers. Japan's post-war reconstruction is creating demand for vehicles at a scale that matches the urgency of the wartime production it replaced. The country needs trucks to haul rubble, buses to move workers, and cars to carry the families of a nation that is rebuilding itself from the ground up. Every vehicle rolling off a Japanese assembly line contains dozens of die-cast aluminium parts, from cylinder blocks and transmission cases to shock towers, door handles, engine covers, and intake manifolds. The automotive industry's hunger for precision cast aluminium components is bottomless. Ryobi's die-cast parts contribute something specific to the automobile industry: weight reduction. Aluminium is roughly 1/3 the weight of steel. Every component cast in aluminium instead of forged in steel makes the car lighter, and a lighter car uses less fuel. In the 1950s and 1960s, as Japan's automotive industry grows from domestic production into an export powerhouse, the demand for lightweight aluminium components accelerates. Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi, every major Japanese automaker needs die-cast parts. And Ryobi's vertically integrated manufacturing system, where the same factory casts, machines, finishes, and inspects the part, delivers the precision and consistency that automotive tolerances demand. The skill set that built air armament components now builds the car engines that carry Japan's economic miracle. The transition works because the process is identical: molten aluminium forced into precision molds under high pressure. The customer changed, but the physics didn't. The original warehouse is long gone by now, and the factory that replaces it is modern, efficient, and growing. Through the 1950s, Ryobi grows steadily on the strength of its die-casting expertise. In 1954, the company expands from metal die casting into plastic die casting, adding injection molded components to its product range. Same principle, different material. Molten polymer forced into a precision mold under pressure instead of molten aluminium. The machines change. The skill set carries over completely. In 1960, Ryobi lists on the Hiroshima Stock Exchange. The small trading company that started in a converted warehouse is now a publicly traded corporation. Urakami has built the company from nothing to a listed entity in 17 years. In the 1960s, Ryobi makes two diversification moves that seem unrelated but share the same underlying logic. Both leverage the company's die casting and precision machining expertise into finished products rather than components. The first move is offset printing presses. Ryobi begins manufacturing printing equipment, using its precision machining capabilities to build the rollers, plates, cylinders, and frames that commercial printing presses require. The tolerances for a printing press are extraordinary. A misalignment of fractions of a millimeter produces blurred text, misregistered colors, and wasted paper. Ryobi's die casting background, which demands similar tolerances for engine components, translates directly. The printing division grows into a major revenue source and eventually becomes its own entity, Ryobi MHI Graphic Technology, through a joint venture with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. The second move is power tools. In 1968, Ryobi enters the power tool market. And here's what's different about this story compared to every other brand in this series. The logic behind the move is not passion, and it is not obsession. There's no founder who can't sleep because carpenters are hauling timber to stationary saws, or because electricians are drilling in spaces too tight for existing tools. The logic is manufacturing capability, plain and simple. Die-cast aluminium housings are the structural core of every portable power tool: the motor housing, the gearbox casing, the handle assembly. Ryobi already manufactures die-cast housings as a supplier to other tool companies. So the question becomes straightforward. Why sell the housing to someone else and let them build the tool around it? Why not build the entire tool yourself? The company has the casting capability, the machining capability, the motor expertise from years of supplying components, and the factory infrastructure to support it. Building a complete power tool instead of just a component is a vertical integration play, not a creative leap. The tool is an output of the factory's capability, not the factory's purpose. This distinction matters because it explains everything that Ryobi becomes, and everything it does not become. Fine enters the power tool market because Wilhelm Emil Fine is obsessed with replacing manual labor with electrical machines. Steel enters because Andreas Steel cannot accept that men are still cutting trees by hand. Festool enters because Gottlieb Stoll believes the tool should go to the wood. Milwaukee enters because Henry Ford needs a lighter drill. Each of these companies is founded on a problem that demands a solution. Ryobi enters because its factory can. The tools that follow are competent, affordable, and widely available. They are born from opportunity, not obsession. And that is not a criticism, it's the origin story. It explains why the tools are positioned the way they are, and it explains what the brand eventually becomes. Through the 1970s and 1980s, Ryobi builds a solid power tool business. The tools are functional, reliable for their price point, and available through hardware stores and home centers across North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. They're not Makita and they're not Milwaukee. They're not aimed at the framing carpenter who needs a drill that survives an 8-hour shift in the rain, or the plumber who needs a right-angled drill that fits between floor joists in a crawl space. They're aimed at the homeowner, the weekend builder, the DIY enthusiast who needs a drill that works well enough, lasts long enough, and costs little enough that the purchase doesn't require justification to a spouse. The positioning is deliberate. Ryobi is not trying to compete with professional brands. It is trying to be the first power tool a person owns. The gateway tool. The drill that teaches a 25-year-old that he can hang his own shelves, build his own deck, fix his own fence. Some of those 25-year-olds will outgrow Ryobi and buy Makita or Milwaukee, and that's fine. Ryobi gets the first sale, and the first sale funds the ecosystem. In 1996, Ryobi makes the single most important product decision in its history. It introduces the 18-volt 1+ battery system. The concept is deceptively simple: one battery, one voltage, universal compatibility across every tool in the range. A battery purchased in 1996 will fit a tool purchased in 2026. 30 years of forward and backward compatibility, guaranteed. No platform changes, no forced obsolescence, no stranded investment. The battery you buy today will power the tool Ryobi releases next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. No other power tool manufacturer in the world has maintained battery compatibility for this long without forcing a platform transition. DeWalt changed from 18-volt XRP to 20-volt max in 2011, requiring customers to buy new batteries or use an adapter. Milwaukee changed from V18 to M18, effectively orphaning the older platform. Bosch has cycled through multiple battery architectures. Makita has maintained LXT backward compatibility for over 20 years, which is the closest competitor to Ryobi's commitment and one of the reasons professionals trust Makita with long-term platform investments. But Ryobi's 30-year streak is unmatched in the industry. No other brand has kept the same battery interface, the same slide-on connection, the same electrical contact pattern for 3 decades across hundreds of products. The strategic brilliance is in the mathematics of switching cost. Every 1+ battery a customer buys locks them deeper into the ecosystem. A homeowner who owns 4 1+ batteries at $60 each has $240 invested in the platform before buying his next tool. The next Ryobi tool costs $99, but the effective cost is only $99 because he already owns the power source. A competing DeWalt tool costs $99 plus $60 for a new 20-volt max battery, plus $40 for a new charger. So $199 effective cost. The Ryobi customer pays half. Not because the Ryobi tool is inherently cheaper, but because the ecosystem makes the comparison mathematically unfair to every competitor. The 1+ system grows. By 2021, it powers over 225 compatible products. By 2026, that number crosses 300. Drills, impact drivers, circular saws, reciprocating saws, oscillating tools, sanders, routers, nail guns, lawn mowers, string trimmers, leaf blowers, pressure washers, fans, lights, glue guns, soldering irons, inflators, sprayers, and even a cordless marshmallow toaster. The absurdity of the range is the point. Every product that can be powered by an 18-volt lithium-ion battery is a product Ryobi will eventually make. The battery is not an accessory to the tool, The battery is the product, and the tools are accessories to the battery. But then the story takes a turn that makes Ryobi unique in the entire power tool industry. In the late 1990s, Japan's economy stagnates. The bubble has burst, growth has stopped, and corporate Japan enters a decade of restructuring, deleveraging, and strategic retreat. Ryobi Limited, like many Japanese conglomerates, is forced to evaluate which businesses are core and which are expendable. Die casting is core. Ryobi's automotive die casting division supplies components to major global automakers. The margins are reliable, the expertise runs deep, and the competitive position is strong. Printing presses are core. The Ryobi printing division, later merged with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries printing division, is a significant player in the global offset printing market. Power tools are not. The power tool division is profitable and growing. The OnePlus platform is gaining traction. But power tools are a consumer business that requires massive marketing spend, continuous new product development, global distribution infrastructure, and retail partnerships that have nothing to do with die casting or printing. The skill set that builds car engine blocks does not build cordless drill marketing campaigns. The resources that the power tool business consumes could be redirected to the divisions that actually define Ryobi's identity and competitive advantage. Ryobi announces its sound management plan, a restructuring policy designed to divest non-core businesses and concentrate resources on areas of strength. The plan is not panicked, it's disciplined. It's the kind of decision a well-managed company makes when it recognizes that doing many things adequately is less valuable than doing a few things exceptionally. Between 2000 and 2002, Ryobi Limited sells its international power tool operations to Tektronic Industries, the Hong Kong-based conglomerate that also owns Milwaukee, the professional tool brand founded from the ashes of a factory fire in 1924. TTI will later acquire the licensing rights for Rigid, the plumber's brand that Home Depot sells under a lifetime service agreement. The Ryobi branded tools become part of a portfolio that covers every tier of the power tool market, from the professional tradesperson who needs Milwaukee to the homeowner who needs Ryobi. And the way the deal is structured matters, because it defines everything about the brand that follows. Ryobi Limited retains ownership of the Ryobi trademark. TTI licenses the name for power tool production and sales worldwide outside Japan. Ryobi Limited collects a licensing fee for the use of its name. TTI gets the brand name, the existing product line, the distribution network, and the freedom to design, manufacture, and sell Ryobi branded tools however it sees fit. TTI can change the designs, the factories, the materials, the motors, the batteries, the retail strategy. The only thing TTI must preserve is the name on the housing. The parallel with DeWalt is direct and instructive. In 1992, Black & Decker resurrected a dead man's trademark, painted its existing tools yellow, and created the most successful brand turnaround in power tool history. The tools were the same, the name was different, and the perception changed everything. In 2000, TTI licenses a living company's trademark, takes over the existing tool business, and begins redesigning it for the consumer market under the same name. The key difference is that Raymond DeWalt was dead when his name was repurposed. Ryobi Limited is very much alive, still operating, still die casting in Hiroshima, and still collecting the licensing check. The Japanese company called Ryobi still exists. It still makes die-cast components in Fuchu, Hiroshima. Its president is still an Urakami, a descendant of the founder, but it no longer makes the power tools that carry its name. TTI makes them, designs them, engineers them, and manufactures them in factories in China, Vietnam, and the United States. TTI sells them through Home Depot under an exclusive retail agreement that has been extended through at least 2028. The brand the viewer knows as Ryobi is not Ryobi. It is TTI wearing Ryobi's name under a licensing contract. In 2018, Ryobi Limited takes the final step in its separation from power tools. It sells its remaining domestic Japanese power tool business to Kyokura, the Kyoto-based ceramics and electronics conglomerate. The last Ryobi-made Ryobi power tool leaves the production line. The circle closes. From this point forward, every Ryobi power tool on Earth is designed, manufactured, and sold by a company that is not Ryobi. So here's how the portfolio works inside TT's North American operation, because understanding this explains what a Ryobi tool actually is. Milwaukee is the professional tier, red tools, the highest engineering investment of any brand in the TTI portfolio, and the most aggressive patent generation in the power tool industry. More than one new patent per week. The M18 and M12 battery platforms power over 200 compatible tools each. The pack-out modular storage system organizes the job site. The one-key digital platform connects tools to smartphones for tracking, customization, and inventory management. Milwaukee gets TTI's best technology first, the largest R&D budget, and the most ambitious new product pipeline. Milwaukee is where TTI competes against Makita and DeWalt for the professional tradesperson's loyalty, and it's where TTI makes its reputation. Rigid is the mid-tier professional. Orange Tools, sold exclusively at Home Depot with the lifetime service agreement, a warranty that covers the tool, the battery, and the charger for the life of the tool, provided the customer registers within 90 days of purchase and maintains proof of purchase. The warranty is the entire value proposition. Rigid targets the serious DIYer and the cost-conscious contractor who wants professional-grade durability with a safety net. The tools are manufactured by TTI under a licensing agreement with Emerson Electric, which owns the Rigid trademark. The tools are competent and the warranty is the reason people buy them. Then there's Ryobi, the consumer tier. Green and yellow tools sold exclusively at Home Depot, the 18-volt 1 Plus platform, the 40-volt outdoor platform, the USB lithium platform. Ryobi targets the homeowner who wants a tool that works well enough for weekend projects at a price that feels responsible. A Ryobi drill costs $79. A Milwaukee drill costs $199. A Festool drill costs $500. The Ryobi doesn't do what the Festool does, but it doesn't need to. It hangs shelves, assembles furniture, drills pilot holes, and drives screws into drywall anchors. That is what its customer needs it to do, and that is what it does well. Ryobi's job is not to be the best tool in the store. Ryobi's job is to be the first tool in the garage. Here's the part that most people don't think about. The tools are designed by TTI engineers who also design Milwaukee tools. Same engineering building, same R&D campus. The technology that appears in Milwaukee today will trickle down to Ryobi in 2 to 3 product cycles. The Milwaukee M18 fuel brushless hammer drill becomes, in simplified and cost-reduced form, the Ryobi 1 plus HP brushless hammer drill 2 years later. The brushless motor architecture is the same, but the control electronics are simplified, the housing materials are lighter, the price drops by half, and the performance drops by roughly a third. The homeowner doesn't notice because the homeowner doesn't drill 200 holes a day. The Home Depot exclusivity is the structural key to the entire system. Ryobi tools are sold only at Home Depot stores and HomeDepot.com in North America. The exclusivity agreement, renewed and extended through at least 2028, gives Home Depot a signature brand that its primary competitor Lowe's cannot carry. Lowe's responds with Flex, Craftsman, and Cobalt. Home Depot has Ryobi, Rigid, and Milwaukee, all 3 TTI brands, all 3 tiers, all 3 colors, all under one roof. A customer walks into Home Depot and can start with a $79 Ryobi drill, step up to a $149 Rigid drill, or go straight to a $199 Milwaukee drill. Every sale stays inside Home Depot, and every battery purchase deepens the ecosystem lock. Ryobi reportedly accounts for approximately 12% of Home Depot's annual power tool revenue. The The number sounds modest until you calculate what 12% of Home Depot's tool revenue actually represents. Home Depot's total annual revenue exceeds $150 billion. Even a small percentage of the power tool segment translates to hundreds of millions of dollars in Ryobi sales flowing through a single retailer. And this is the part worth understanding. The viewer who buys a Ryobi drill at Home Depot is participating in a supply chain of remarkable complexity, and almost all of it is invisible. The tool is designed by TTI engineers in Hong Kong and at the Brookfield, Wisconsin R&D campus that also designs Milwaukee tools. It is manufactured in TTI's factories, primarily in China and Vietnam, with some assembly operations in the United States at a TTI facility in Anderson, South Carolina. It is sold under a Japanese name, licensed from a Japanese die casting company that no longer makes tools and hasn't made tools since 2018. It is sold through an exclusive retail agreement with an American home improvement retailer, headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. The battery inside it uses lithium-ion cells manufactured in Asia, assembled into packs at TTI facilities, and designed to fit a connector interface that was first standardized in 1996 by the original Japanese Ryobi engineering team. The brand identity is borrowed. The engineering is shared with two other brands under the same corporate roof. The tool itself may contain motor components, switch assemblies, or battery management circuits identical to those found in a Milwaukee or rigid product from one or two product generations earlier, rehoused in a green casing, marketed to a different customer, and sold at a lower price. The green casing is what makes it a Ryobi. The price is what makes it a Ryobi. The name is what makes it a Ryobi. Inside the housing, the boundaries between TTI's three brands are thinner than most consumers imagine. None of this is a secret and none of it is a scandal. It is simply the mechanics of how a modern power tool brand operates inside a multinational conglomerate in the 21st century. The viewer who uses the tool to hang a shelf or build a deck doesn't need to know the supply chain, but the viewer watching this video has a right to understand it. Today, Ryobi is the world's #1 DIY tool brand by volume. Not by engineering prestige and not by the reverence that attaches to a Festool or a Hilti or a Fine, by the sheer number of tools in the hands of homeowners across the globe. The ONE+ platform powers over 300 products. The 40-volt platform covers heavy-duty outdoor equipment like lawn mowers, chainsaws, and snowblowers. The USB lithium platform, launched in 2022, covers compact rechargeable devices like flashlights, screwdrivers, and glue guns. 3 platforms across 3 voltage levels, serving 3 customer tiers within the consumer segment alone. The ecosystem is the product and the tools are how you access it. The battery compatibility promise remains unbroken. A ONE+ battery purchased in 1996, the year the platform launched, still fits a ONE+ tool purchased in 2026. 30 years? No other manufacturer can make the same claim. The promise has survived the transfer from Ryobi Limited to TTI, the shift from nickel-cadmium to lithium-ion chemistry, the introduction of brushless motors, the addition of Bluetooth connectivity, and 3 decades of product evolution. The battery interface has not changed. For 50 million homeowners, that commitment is the brand, not the Japanese heritage, not the Hiroshima founding story, not the wartime warehouse. The battery. The battery is what keeps a homeowner walking past the DeWalt display, past the Craftsman display, past every other brand in the Home Depot power tool aisle, to pick up the green tool. Because he already owns the battery. And the battery fits everything. Every other brand in this series has a continuous identity. Fine is fine, and the company that invents is the company that builds. Makita is Makita, and the repair shop that became a manufacturer is still the manufacturer. Bosch is Bosch, and the workshop in the rear courtyard is still, through a chain of direct succession, the company that stamps the blue and green tools. Even Milwaukee, sold 4 times to 4 different owners, retains a physical presence in the city that gave it its name. Even DeWalt, resurrected from a filing cabinet, carries the ghost of a real inventor and a real machine. Ryobi is different. The company that makes Ryobi tools is not Ryobi. The company that is Ryobi does not make tools. The name exists in a permanent state of separation from the product it represents. The trademark lives in Fuchu, Hiroshima, inside a die casting company run by the founder's descendant. The tools live in a Hong Kong conglomerate's portfolio, designed alongside Milwaukee and Rigid, manufactured in 5 countries and sold through a single American retailer. Is this a problem? For the professional who buys a tool based on who built it, maybe. For the 50 million homeowners who own OnePlus batteries, almost certainly not. They're not buying heritage or a founder's legacy. They're buying a battery that fits 300 tools at a price they can afford, and the ecosystem delivers on that promise every single time. Yutaka Urakami asked, "What's die casting?" in September 1943. 1 week later, he said, "I'll do it." He founded a company in a soy sauce warehouse, built air armament parts for a military that would surrender within 2 years, pivoted to car parts when the war ended, pivoted to printing presses, pivoted to power tools, and listed on the stock exchange. He built a conglomerate. Then the conglomerate decided power tools were not the core business. The name was licensed to a company in Hong Kong. The tools continued under a different builder. The battery continued across every tool, every year, every generation for 30 years and counting. Today, Ryobi Limited employs approximately 7,400 people. It manufactures die-cast components for the global automotive industry. Its headquarters is still in Fuchu, Hiroshima, the same town where Yutaka Urakami converted a soy sauce warehouse into a factory in 1943. The company's president is Akira Urakami. The founding family is still in the building. The Ryobi power tools that 50 million people own are made by a different company, in different factories, in different countries, under a different corporate structure. The only thing connecting the green drill in a garage in Texas to that warehouse in Hiroshima is a licensing agreement and a 7-letter name. The name travels, the company stays, and 50 million batteries still fit.